Hey guys, it's Bang for Buck PC Gamer here, and I've just purchased myself a 27-inch Acer 144Hz monitor with FreeSync. Now the reason I got this monitor was a lot of people have been making quite a big fuss about how great high refresh rate gaming is, especially when you've got the graphics cards to power them and keep that frame rate steady. When I upgraded my monitor, I went straight from 1080p to 4K, and I'm currently using a Samsung. It's the U28D 590D, and that's a fully 4K monitor, TN panel, 1 millisecond response time. Very, very good monitor for the price. So the system I have consists of two GTX 980 Ti's, a 5930K at 4.5 gigahertz and 32 gigabytes of DDR4 running at 2666 megahertz. So I've got a really powerful system that should be able to get the most out of this 144 hertz 27-inch 2560 by 1440 monitor. Now, opening the box, all you really get is a DVI cable, DisplayPort cable, an audio jack cable, and you get the power cable and your adapter for the plug socket. And that's pretty much it. I'm just going to give you a look at the screen now. I'm just going to take down my Samsung and make some room for this new monitor. So I have the monitor all set up now. I have to say it does look quite a bit smaller than my Samsung on my desk. And this is a true 144 hertz monitor. It's not one of those monitors you need to overclock, so I'm just going to just give you a quick walk around. Basically, it's got like a burnt orange finish, so it's almost like a unique kind of orange and black. I do like the zero frame that they boast. It's basically like a screen with no bezel at the side. So if you're someone that was into NVIDIA 3D Surround or AMD High Affinity, then these will definitely be a great choice if you wanted to run a multiple monitor setup. So just to quickly go through a few of its features, it is 27-inch. It does have a 1 millisecond response time. It is 144 hertz refresh rate, and it does have the AMD FreeSync technology. Something I may try with my AMD R9 390 a little later. It also supports HDMI 2.0, and it does have protection for blue light as well. So it's got quite a few good features with it. For the price as well, you can't knock it. So this is going to be my first experience with a monitor that runs over 60 hertz, and I'll let you guys know what I think of it once I've tested it out. So the model of this monitor is the Acer XG270HU. Goes for about £435 here in the UK. Definitely worth the money. 2560 by 1440 144 hertz panels are really expensive, and this is only a TN panel. IPS panels pretty much are a minimum of £500 and upwards, and currently something I didn't have the budget for, so I had to settle for something a bit less. But for me, this was more of an experiment to see just what this very high refresh rate experience provides over 4K. So far I have to say it is a really good looking screen. I'll just quickly show you a few of the pictures just so I can show you some of the I/O. So you have a DVI, a DisplayPort, and you also have a HDMI 2.0 connection, audio in and out, and your power connection. So enough choices to choose from for connectivity. Obviously if you want to run 144 hertz, you do have to use either DisplayPort or I would imagine HDMI 2.0 as well. So it does look really good as well. I do like the design. The only downfall is it doesn't have any height adjustment. You can only tilt forward and back, and obviously being a TN panel, and the viewing angles ain't going to be as good as an IPS panel. But I'm not too concerned about that. I do use this mainly head on. I'm not one to kind of view this from different angles, so it's not really a massive downfall for myself. So what I want to do now is just jump into a few games and basically do a bit of gameplay and just try and describe to you what I think about it in comparison to my 4K monitor. Okay, so this is Battlefield 4. In-game settings I used were resolution of 2560 by 1440. As you can see, you have a refresh rate of 143.86. Not quite 144, but it's not a big deal. And the preset set to ultra, so the game's pretty much maxed out. Shouldn't be too much of a problem for two GTX 980 Ti's. So I've tried my best to capture on-screen gameplay without using shadow play. As you can see, the game's averaging around about 120 to 130 frames per second, so really high frame rates on a demanding level like Paracel Storm on a 64 player map. Now all I can say is that everything feels so responsive. It's like there's no blur when you turn sharply, so you maintain a lot of clarity, so that kind of helps when you're trying to aim at an enemy that's trying to run away. Also the colors are pretty rich as well. It's definitely got decent color reproduction, but definitely not something you can use for professional. You'd have to spend a lot more money if you're into that kind of stuff. But it's got a matte finish as well, so it does deflect light really well. That's another bonus about this screen. But I'm definitely enjoying how sharp and responsive the monitor is. Everything just feels so seamless. It's quite a step up from 60 Hz, 60 frames per second, which I've played all my life. Okay, so that's pretty much it for my comparison. Looking at the two monitors now, I own both, so I'm just going to give you what my feelings about both of them. I think definitely the Samsung has the edge in visual quality. Obviously it has a lot more pixels on its side, but also the actual image quality as well. It's got richer blacks. It just looks overall better when it comes to image quality. But on the Acer XG270HU, its advantage really is that high refresh rate. It feels more natural, more vivid. Games feel more responsive. It's hard to explain. It's almost as if there's no lag at all. Like, you wouldn't think 60 Hertz and 60 FPS is laggy until you try something higher. This is my first time trying a higher refresh rate, and it's definitely an experience that's raised some questions for myself. Now I have to choose which one I want to use as my main monitor, and I think I'm leaning towards the Acer, simply because the games feel more natural. Animations look more vivid and look more realistic. I was playing a bit of Tomb Raider earlier, and just shooting the machine gun and just turning around really quickly and things like that. The detail is everything's retained. Nothing's lost when you're moving quickly. So games overall feel better. And 2560 by 1440, the reduction in quality is not as dramatic as I thought it was going to be. I initially jumped from 1080 to 4K, and that was like a different ballpark completely. But 1440p still looks really good, albeit not as good as 4K. But it is kind of the happy medium, I think. 2560 by 1440 with 144 Hertz refresh rate. So definitely gonna choose the Acer as my main monitor going forward. When I want to do 4K content, I'll just use my Samsung. It also makes me feel, because I have FreeSync with this monitor, should I go AMD with my next graphics card upgrades? As I always do, I always choose the best cards I can afford. So if Nvidia Pascal whoops, AMD's Polaris is asked, then obviously I'll be going Pascal. But on the other hand, if Polaris hands Nvidia is asked, then I'll be going AMD. I've never been one to side with anything, because I only care about my wallet and my experience at the end of the day. Anyway, going off topic now. If you're someone that's gonna make a choice between 4K and 1440p with a high refresh rate, it all really does come down to what games you play. I would say if you're into first person shoot 'em ups and really high paced games like racing games as well, then I would advise you to go with a high refresh rate with a sacrifice of obviously the pixel count. But if you're someone that's into slower paced games like RPG games like maybe The Witcher and just other kind of role-playing games like and real-time strategy games as well, then the extra real estate is going to help with the 4K, and obviously the extra visual quality as well is going to make a bit more of a difference. So it does come down to that. There is pros and cons to both choices. That's my take on it. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks for watching.